Hot mess. Hi, everyone. I hope you had an amazing day so far. Welcome to our second live Q&A. I didn't get a chance to go back through the list, so if I don't get your question today, I will definitely get to it sooner than later. The one I saw right before I hopped on was from Ashley, and I'll address that in a minute. I just wanted to address the importance of consistency. I had a really long day. Internet wasn't working earlier. I couldn't get online, and just a whole bunch of other crap, cellular data through the roof. Anyways, long story short, it was kind of a physically and also a very stressful day. And I just wanted to encourage you all to not let that be an excuse to not eat healthy things when you get home. The last thing that I wanted to do when I got home tonight was cook. And I honestly haven't even finished my dinner because I needed to hop on this live. So obviously you're really important to me, and here's the thing. If you say you're going to do something, you really have to follow through and do it, because it's one thing to, set a goal, and it's a whole different ball game, another ball game to, achieve that goal and do whatever hard work that it takes to actually get to that finish line. So, today I didn't want to cook in any way, shape, or form. I'm thankful, I have Steve in my life, and he actually helps out quite a bit, but we were just having like ground turkey, some egg, rice, and vegetables. And I haven't really eaten anything all day just because I've been out in the middle of freaking nowhere, and there's nowhere to eat really, and I did not pack anything. I drank a ton of water. Had some branched chain amino acids, which I will get to, I promise. But here's the thing. You really want to make sure that you're consistent, because it's always so much hard work to stay the course. And it's really easy to just kind of come up with all these excuses. And that's one thing I want to touch on today is honestly, with all due respect, I love every single one of you, and I'm so glad that you're here. But if there's like excuses as to why you can't get on the live, or you can't get your workout done or whatever, it's not that I don't want to hear about it, ladies. It's just that, I've heard it all. Let's put it that way. And there's so much information out there, and it's kind of daunting at this point. I feel like there's so many more people, giving advice that they shouldn't be giving advice. And there's such a difference between weight loss, achieving optimal health, and then like kind of coming back from a medicinal standpoint, if that makes any sense. If your body is in like a complete and total toxic state, your strategy is going to be very, very different. And although this whole entire program is all about managing stress, because I know that there's a ton of it this day and age, there's everything that's going on in the world. And even before COVID-19, there was tons of stress in everyone's life, especially as a mom and a wife and, a career woman and whatever else you've got going on in your life. Stress is always going to be there. And then there's also, there's ways that you can overcome that. And making excuses and giving yourself an out is definitely not one way to do that. It's giving you the wrong mentality to face like your biggest challenges in life, which again should be your health. Your health needs to be at the top of that totem pole, and it should never even be second in line. So I just want to encourage you that if you've got some setbacks in your life, or maybe you didn't get the workouts done this week, you got to go back. And don't forget to comment done, because I do watch every single one of you commenting, and there has been like a handful of people that are saying that they're completed. And I want to hear from you. I really want to hear when you're done the workouts, because then I know I'm holding you accountable. And that's the number one reason why most other, weight loss strategies or weight loss programs fail. It's because of lack of accountability. And that's what I'm here for, as best as I can, virtually, etc. Okay. So hopefully you'll show up today, today. And also on Saturday is our next live workout. And before I get into the live Q&A, I just wanted to address a little bit something with when it comes to stress and things that you can actually supplement to keep the stress at minimum. Okay. Magnesium and zinc is probably the number one deficiency that most people have in their diet, because it's very, very challenging to get enough units, if you will, or enough dosage through food alone. So taking a supplement of magnesium and zinc is not a bad idea. I would recommend highly that you take it at night, because it can be very harsh on the stomach. Plus magnesium will help you sleep. But magnesium is, something we're lacking on a general basis. And if you're starting to take this, you'll probably notice a profound difference. If you're someone that's really, really high stress and you feel like a bunch of anxiety, I highly recommend you get some magnesium in your life. And I can link one up. I think it's called ZMX on Amazon. And I'm sure that the people that are on here from the US, I'm sure you have it there too. I don't know exactly your dosage. It can be just whatever the actual bottle says is what you should follow, and see if it makes a difference in your life. And then again, we're just going to keep all those like negative thoughts out of the woodworks. I've said this before multiple times in lots of my groups, but if you are someone that hangs around negative people, if you are somebody that compares yourself constantly to other people on social media, if you are constantly hearing negative things and negative thoughts, and you're watching the news and you're watching like stupid stuff, it's poisoning. And I mean that, it's poisoning your mind. You got to just turn the news off. You got to cut the negative people out of your life. And I've done a very good job at doing this and kind of getting all of my ducks in a row, if you will, over the last 6 months. And I would encourage you to do the same, because you can never actually anticipate how much stress that is adding to your life. I'm not saying you can't be there for your friends or your family or whatever else, but guys, if they start to actually affect the way that you think and your personal health, it's time to cut those people out. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say on that regard. Post your questions, ladies, that are on here. I know there's 9 of us. Here, I remember this one question from Ashley. She was asking about fasting and having a coffee with oat milk before she breaks her fast. The long of the short of it is, yes, you can do something that's called a dirty fast, where you can actually have 50 calories before you start consuming calories, okay? So the answer, the long and the short of it is yes. Is it ideal? Probably not. And here's the thing, ladies, too. I mean, fasting is fabulous. Like I said before, it's not for everybody. So please, trial and error it. You might have to adjust your time clock a little bit. And I really wouldn't recommend you do it more than 5 times a week. Your body absolutely needs to have a refeed as well. And you just really want to be focused on getting the right things inside of your diet and breaking your fast accordingly. So hopefully that makes sense to you. I'm going to talk a little bit about other vitamins too, since I don't know why, but there's no questions. So please post them here. Vitamin A and vitamin K are also water soluble vitamins. And one other thing, when you're around your time of month and you're going through your cycle, ladies, one big thing other than the magnesium that we've already addressed here too, is you really want to make sure that the first 14 days of your cycle, your estrogen is going to be a lot higher. And then as you move past that time frame is when your testosterone, progesterone, is spiked. So you can actually start playing around with whether or not you eat carbohydrates. Should be consumed basically in the first 14 days of your cycle. I'm not saying you can't have carbohydrates every day, but if you're feeling, like you have massive cravings or something like that, please satisfy them. Again, watch your portion controls, because it's all about being in a caloric deficit as a weight loss strategy. We all know that. But if you are in the first 14 days, you'll kind of notice that your body will most likely respond better to giving like healthier carbohydrates at that time. And then when you're in your second 14 days there, so 21 days and onward, or 14, hold on, I have to do my math. Yes, 15 to like 28 days, you're going to notice your progesterone is actually higher. So you're going to want to incorporate a little bit more of healthy fats. That's just kind of like a little tidbit. If you're someone that's gone through menopause, I mean, there's this whole whack of other like research and, theories, etc., around what we should and shouldn't be consuming as women when it goes through, your menopause and your cycle, etc. But I would encourage you to, try and keep your hormones at bay. Your hormones are constantly changing. It's very, very challenging for you to measure your hormones, because you can measure them, say 1 week, and if it's not the same time of your cycle when you measure it, say a second time, and you can do this with a naturopath, you can do it at your doctor's, etc., then it's not going to read correctly. So they're constantly changing. They literally control everything that's going on inside of your body. So I'm sure a lot of us experience, some anxiety or emotions, whatever, anger around our time of the month. And those are completely normal. I'm not giving you a red flag or green flag, I should say, to act crazy. But at the same time, it's a completely normal symptom. And one other thing I would recommend, if you are somebody that suffers from menstrual cramps, I would recommend getting raspberry leaf tea. Again, you can get it on Amazon if you don't want to leave the house, or just put it on your grocery list, and it really, really helps. Okay, so just take that into consideration. So hopefully that helps. Okay, we got to scroll back here. Okay, Caitlin is asking what we recommend we eat first and then drink a coffee. No, I am not recommending that if you're fasting. There's no such thing. Like, you shouldn't be eating calories if you are fasting. This was a question from Ashley, girl. just about doing like a dirty fast, which she wants to add oat milk to her coffee. I said, that's okay. The long of the short of it, I obviously prefer it being black 100%. And don't be shy to add cinnamon to it. I'm not sure if I touched on that before, but cinnamon will help, you know, improve your digestion as you wake up. There's another thing I heard from one of the guys that I actually work with. He's a holistic nutritionist. He's a wealth of knowledge. And I want to point this out before we go on. When you wake up in the morning, before you actually drink your water, if that's what you're doing, hopefully that is what you're doing, I want you to start scraping your tongue. Overnight, he told me that there's lots of toxins, of course, that your body is releasing. It's very, very normal when you're asleep. And all your other toxins are actually resting on the top of your tongue. And if the first thing that you do is, you know, sip your water, which is absolutely the first thing that I do, you want to start scraping your tongue. Get a spoon and just scrape it off. And he said that way those toxins are not being put back inside of your body. I thought that was an excellent tip. I never really thought of it that way because obviously, you know, I wake up, I drink my cups of water, and then I have my black coffee, and then I brush my teeth in that order. So just try that and see if it makes a difference for how you're feeling for your day. Okay. You're welcome, Ashley. No problem at all. Yeah, Kaylin. So hopefully I answered your question, girl. You don't want, when you're fasting, ladies, you're not eating. Okay. So drinking black coffee, black tea, water, you know, citrus water, cucumber water is completely and totally okay. But again, that dirty fast is like allowing 50 calories. I don't necessarily agree with it, but if you're someone that absolutely cannot have black coffee or tea, then again, we know dairy milk is out, but I don't mind, you know, a little splash of oat milk or almond milk or cashew milk or whatever. Just again, I would add the cinnamon too, just to help with your digestion. Okay. My thoughts on salt. I think so many people are afraid of salt, which is ridiculous because we need salt. Like, it's funny because people have always, you know, had such negative feelings against sodium, and one of the best things that you can get for your mineral is actually like a sea salt. So there's a lot of research around this too. If you're somebody that wants to kind of do an internal cleanse when you wake up, you can absolutely do this when you're fasting as well. You can take warm water or even room temperature water. I don't recommend cold because obviously the mixture doesn't mix very well. And I would get your sea salt, pink Himalayan is the best, and you'll grind it up about a capful, dump it into your water. Then you can add a lemon slice and also a lime slice, and that's going to actually get everything flowing once again. It's just another alternative, you know, to drinking your water or doing lemon water in the morning, whatever you do. Don't be afraid of salt. Okay. Yes, if you're having a sickening amount of sodium, like if you're talking, you know, soy sauce and then you're using table salt, like it's going out of style. Salt is an excellent way to add flavor to vegetables or meat or whatever the case is. It's just obviously, again, like anything else, Debbie, you really need to just watch your portion controls. It's not necessarily about everything in modification, but if you're someone that's eating, say, 3 meals a day and then 2 to 3 snacks a day, we want to make sure that at least, you know, half of that doesn't necessarily have a bunch of salt in it. Okay. But I would recommend Himalayan sea salt over, you know, regular table salt, but still it's sodium, and don't be so afraid of it unless it's like MSG inside of, you know, Chinese food or stuff like that. Then that's when, of course, it can become toxic for you. So just be cautious of that, but it's not like we're eating Chinese food every single night too. And not to mention, we all know that Chinese food is not the best for us, right? Okay. What's the best way to break your fast? So you want to have a balanced meal. The last thing that you want to do is only say consume a piece of fruit, because it's just going to spike your insulin level through the roof. You don't have any protein there. You don't also have, you know, any, healthy fats to balance it out. So a perfect breaking of the fast would be, don't go a huge meal either. You know, if you're starving, that means that you need to kind of adjust your clock ever so slightly, even if it's just like 20 minutes or half an hour to start. But again, don't be so obsessive about that clock. I really need to reiterate that. It's all about at least extending it to about, you know, anywhere from 12 to 14 hours to start. And then as your body starts to adjust to it, and your metabolism and your stomach size and your appetite, you can start going into like the 16, 17, 18 range. Okay. And again, ladies, it's not for everybody. I am not a nurse. I am not a doctor. I am not a nutritionist. I just really, really, truly believe in all the health benefits of fasting. And that's why I'm very passionate about how much it's changed my life and my health. So the perfect way to break your fast would be Protein, as always, you want to have a healthy carbohydrate and also a healthy fat. So something in the case like if you're having breakfast, for instance, I would have your eggs. You can have a piece of avocado, or you can just put, maybe you're having a piece of gluten-free toast. You can put some butter on there. That's considered a healthy fat for me. Or you can have some eggs with a piece of fruit and maybe some nut butter, something of that nature. So you don't want to do like harsh things to digest either. So that's why I recommend to kind of stay away from those starchy vegetables and, nightshades, which are like peppers and whatnot when you're first breaking your fast, because they can be very bloating. And I do recommend, ladies, if you are somebody right now that suffers from a lot of bloating and indigestion, etc., I do recommend cooking your vegetables. You might be eating them raw, but at the beginning, I recommend cooking them just because it's going to be easier for you to break down the fibers and the actual vegetables themselves. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Debbie. Okay. We've got Anna. She bought the Arbonne whole food blend with multivitamin mineral boosts. Amazing. I will take this at night. What else do I recommend? I would recommend taking that in the morning, babe. You want to take your vitamins and stuff, your minerals, etc., in the morning, if possible, with food. Okay. If you are fasting, then take your multivitamins and your mineral boost with food and when you break your fast. Okay. I recommend like the gut health. It's called gut health now, or it's still called Digestion Plus in certain areas. This is the probiotic I've talked about. It's a prebiotic, 11 digestive enzymes. You can throw it into your shake. It's super easy to digest. I also highly recommend the Greens Balance. This is 37 fruits and vegetables that you can chuck into a little cup of water with that Digestion Plus, and it's just a really great way to boost your immunity in the morning or just whenever you're breaking your fast. And if you're someone that really suffers from getting enough fiber or fruits and veggies in your diet, this is an awesome alternative. My other favorites, of course, are the protein powder. In a pinch, it's not always easy to get at least 100 grams of protein in. Plus, it's just so quick and easy. And I do recommend blending your shakes, ladies. If you're someone that, shakes them up with water or, some type of non-dairy milk, I do highly recommend you blend them with some ice and maybe even some frozen banana, frozen berries would be an optimal, sort of shake for me. And, the only other thing, which I'm super excited about, it actually is launching on Friday, is lemon and lime fizz. Fizz is awesome. It's a great caffeine replacement. So it's a really good way to still get your B vitamins. It's got green tea extract in there, which is great for fat burning. And it's I think it's 15 calories or something crazy like that. You just mix it with your water and it's not even really that fizzy. It just kind of all goes out in the water. So those are my top favorites. I obviously love everything that Arbonne has. That's why I work with them. Okay. Holly, I have tried the last few days. What do you recommend? I don't know what you're saying. Oh, you feel tired. I think that's what you were trying to say. So Holly says that she feels tired for the last few days. Do you recommend any vitamins? Absolutely. Vitamin D, 1000%. If you're not taking vitamin D, you need to start immediately. Make sure you are taking this with fat, a good healthy fat. So with avocado, with fish, with coconut oil, something of that nature that I've already talked about, ladies. The only other thing I'm going to say is that the magnesium and the zinc, if you are feeling so ridiculously stressed out, you need to absolutely get this into your diet, into your routine, I should say. Do take this before you go to bed because it's going to help you fall asleep. It's going to help you stay asleep. Zinc and magnesium, we are extremely deficient in, and especially in the winter, we are deficient of vitamin D. There's barely any sun. We don't have any sun exposure whatsoever. So you got to take your vitamin D. Those would be absolutely, my essentials this time of year. And again, if you are someone that's experiencing stress, that's another thing. I talked a little bit about this last week, but your sleep hygiene has everything to do with how well you can fall asleep and stay asleep. And if you are someone that's feeling really lethargic in the day, it means that you need to get up and moving more. Get up, get outside, take some fresh air, even if it's freezing freaking cold, it doesn't matter because that fresh air is going to rejuvenate you. And what I mean by sleep hygiene is how dark is your room? Do you have white noise on? Do you have a solid routine? Are you going to bed before 10 o'clock at night? Are you looking at your cell phone in bed? Are you watching TV in bed? Cut it out. No more like blue lights bullshit in the nighttime. It's not doing your health any justice. And being tired during the day is very normal this time of year, especially with everything that's going on. I mean, we're trapped in the freaking house. And not to mention, if you're not sleeping well, it's just going to be natural for you. But do look for things that are going to provide you with decent amount of natural energy. So like a green tea or something like that is what I would recommend for you, Holly, if you're feeling really tired during the day. And then again, get that magnesium in your routine, okay? And vitamin D, 1000%. Yes, I can talk about stretching after workouts. What do I recommend? So dynamic stretching should be done before you work out, which is more like you're not holding the actual stretch. You're doing, different movement with your arms. We did actually dynamic stretching and warm up when we worked out together on Saturday, where you're actually moving your joints around a lot more. You're getting the blood flowing through your muscles. So you're warming that muscle up. When you're doing a cool down and stretching after your workout, you want to make sure it's more static. So you'll lean over and hold the stretch for anywhere between 10 to 20 seconds. And I would recommend about 10 minutes, okay? You can also just maybe even use it as a time to meditate a little bit while you do some stretching. Obviously, yoga is incredible. It's good as a workout, but it's also really great, certain movements to do your stretching after your workout. And just make sure you continue to breathe. Working on your flexibility would be absolutely one of the goals I would recommend when you're going through like a stretching routine. So after your workout, 10 minutes is plenty. You can go 15, whatever you prefer. I also recommend stretching during the day. If you are somebody that works at a friggin' computer, you need to get up like every 20 minutes, set an alarm on your phone. And you'll be so annoyed by the time the afternoon hits that you're just going to get up before that alarm even goes off, okay? It's so important for you to not sit in that same position, screwing up your posture, your neck's all screwed up, your shoulders are coming forward, you're not working on your core strength, you're not moving around. It's so important to get up from your computer every 20 minutes for sure. And hopefully you have something that's actually like borderline ergonomic for you to sit in, okay? So don't be shy to stretch during the day. And speaking of sleep hygiene, you'll notice I have a blanket at the top part of my curtain. That's to block more of the light out. I'm crazy. My room is pitch black with no light. Light drives me insane when I'm trying to sleep. So I made Steve put that up when it looks like hell, but what else are you going to put up there at this point? So anyways, so don't mind the blanket on top of my curtains. Okay. Caitlin, can you just put your question in one full text? Because I'm not sure what you're asking me, babe. Sorry. Okay, so Suanna is asking me, what about a ketogenic coffee? Oh, butter coffee? I don't love it. Unless it's under 50 calories, I would say no. I'm not sure how much butter you're putting into the coffee. I know there's, listen, like I just personally don't love the keto diet. If keto works for you, then go ahead and, do that. I just don't recommend it for a few different reasons. I mean, women do generally respond okay to healthy fats, or I guess animal fat, but you also need to take in consideration that everyone's not, the same. And for me personally, I just can't handle eating that much amount of animal fat. It makes me I just don't feel right about it. It's just weird, but it depends how much butter you're putting into your, coffee, or if you're using like a coconut oil and stuff like that. Just be careful of your portion sizes. I would say as long as it's under 50 calories, that should be okay. No problem. You didn't miss anything. That was a great question. Nancy, can I talk a little bit about the benefits of taking amino acids or branched chain aminos? I think you're probably talking about branched chain amino acids. So there's actually two different types of amino acids. And again, this is something our body cannot absolutely produce on its own. Branched chain amino acids, there are, I'm trying to remember, 3. And then there's also something called essential amino acids, which is actually 8. So I take my amino acids every single day of my life if I'm working out, which is basically every single day. No, I work out at least 5 or 6 times a week, mostly 5 these days just because I'm at home and I've got a lot going on. But branched chain amino acids are basically, with the best analogy I can, give you without going all scientific, is it gives your muscles energy to get through the workout. It gives your muscles, it replenishes those muscles. So your body if you are, say, fasting and you have branched chain amino acids and you're sipping on this either before you work out, during your workout, or even after, your body is not going to go directly to your muscles for energy. What I mean by energy is basically burning of your fuel. It's going to go to your fat stores. Okay, and actually branched chain amino acids feed your muscles the proper things to be able to, your amino acids, to grow and develop. Okay, so I just personally love amino acids because it flavors my water and it's just something different that I can, you know, kind of consume during the day. I do recommend a few different brands, although both of them are sold out currently on Amazon. What else is new? So I'm currently, you know, kind of searching for another one. The Arbonne one is okay. It's not great. It's got some amino acids in it, but not a lot. And that's why it's not that I don't recommend it. It's just that there's better quantity ones that you can get. But again, ladies, these are all things in moderation too. Like if you're finding that it's not responding well for your digestion system, or maybe it's not doing what you need it to do, then you don't need to take this every day. You don't need to take this like every day for the next 6 years. It's just something I really enjoy, and I do recommend them, especially if you're somebody that is trying to develop lean muscle, and not to mention you're going to start going into like a progressive overload, meaning that you're trying to get stronger and lift heavier weights. Amino acids are really going to come into play there. So hopefully that helps. You can also have it more than once a day if at all needed. Sometimes it helps to kind of keep a little bit of hunger off the radar, if you will, just because you're, again, sipping on something that's not just water. So it kind of changes it up in that regard. Okay. I'll try and link up the ones that I take, Nancy. If I forget, please remind me, okay? Oh, Kelly, you're not late. It's all good, girl. Any questions, let me know. Pink salts, Holly is asking me about. Yes, pink Himalayan salt. It comes in like these little rocks almost, and you have to grind it up. You can get it at Costco. That's where I got mine. I'm sure you can get it on Amazon. Frig, I should be a spokesperson for Amazon. I think I sold like 8 things already off of Amazon. I'm just trying to think of where else I've sold. It's everywhere. It's honestly everywhere. So yeah, you just grind it up, chuck it into your morning internal cleanse if that's something you want to do. Suanna, that's okay. The only thing I would need to see obviously is your portion size. It's not necessarily like you need carbs. I would maybe it's fine. What you're breaking your fast with, she's breaking it with eggs and avocado. That's totally fine. Yeah, you don't have to eat carbs, ladies, if you don't feel like it. It's all good. Protein bars, I'd have to see it. Protein bars are, normally speaking, they're packed with calories, they're packed with sugar, they're packed with shitty ingredients. So I would have to see what it is. I don't love protein bars as much as I like actually the powders. I just feel like you can add natural ingredients to the actual shake. So that's why, you know, like your fruits and, you know, almond milk, etc. But protein bars, generally speaking, some of them are okay. I'm still eating them. I'm just trying to think what they're called. Midday Squares are awesome. They actually taste like chocolate, but again, you don't really want to have a ton of those a day, or every day for that matter. There are some sugar in it, although there is quite a bit of protein, so it kind of fills you up. But yeah, just be careful with protein bars. I'd have to absolutely see it, Suanna. I can't tell you that blindly. Sorry. Yes. Yeah, you got vitamin D. Drops are also incredible. I'm sure you probably put it under your tongue. Just make sure that you're getting enough units. Again, you should be getting at least, I think I recommended last time 5,000. I would recommend for sure 5,000 and up. I usually get about 6,000 a day. And even that, sometimes it doesn't feel like it's enough. Just make sure, once again, if you're doing the drops to it, you're taking that with a healthy fat. What sounds impossible, Kelly? Elaborate. Ashley, I always mention starch and being mindful. 25% of your plate or so. Potatoes, okay, I feel like they get a bad rep. Absolutely they do. It's because one person thought that you could get fat on eating potatoes and rice, and that was the end of it. Society is so frustrating. It really is. And it honestly creates this like mentality that we can't actually enjoy the foods that we love to eat because it's going to make us fat. It's so stupid. Again, yes, everything in moderation. Obviously, you don't want to be having, 3 meals a day of potatoes. Clearly, that's not the case. But if you are choosing a dinner and 50% of your plate is packed with vegetables, you've got the other 30% with your protein, a good quality protein, or 35%, and the other 20 to 25% is carbs. And if it's potatoes, that is an incredible meal to have. Okay. And another thing you can kind of play around with, Ashley, is if you feel like carbohydrates will respond to like your satiating feelings as you go into the evening, I would start to have those carbohydrates a little bit earlier in the day, because then you have more time to burn off that energy. And sometimes I recommend for women, depending on who they are, to have healthier fats, like a higher amount of fats in the evening time. Because depending, again, who you are, you might be able to stay, satiated a lot longer than if you were to have carbohydrates. Let's think about this for a second. So you order a pizza and you eat the whole damn thing, and then like maybe half an hour later, you're hungry. Has it happened to you? Absolutely. I would almost kind of guarantee that it has. Or you'll have, 4 or 5 slices, 3 slices, whatever the heck it is. And within like an hour to an hour and a half, you're hungry again. First of all, there's barely any protein. That's the number one reason. But because there's nothing of like quality in a pizza, and don't get me wrong, I had pizza last night. I love pizza. It's not sending the signal to your brain that you're full. It's not sending the signal to your brain that you've been, satiated. So you start to feel hungry, and I compare it to kind of drinking alcohol. They're empty calories. It's not going to fill you up. It's just like mindless eating. So that's why, the things like French fries and that's the thing with potatoes, there's different types of potatoes. If you're roasting potatoes in olive oil or grapeseed oil and you're using like good quality seasoning and you're keeping your portion sizes intact, that's an excellent meal to have. Whereas if you're having French fries every single night or every other night, that's not going to help you lose weight. It's just a reality of it. There's also, food quality is a huge factor when it comes to weight loss. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. And that's the thing about sending the signal to your brain. When you have protein in a balanced meal, you feel full, and you're going to release some serotonin, of course, because you feel good after you eat, right? That's just normal. That's a normal hormonal reaction. Okay. So, is it normal to have headaches? I have had great sleeps, always have, increased water, but headaches for days on end, on and off, she said. Sorry, food consumption has minimized. It's not necessarily abnormal. I would say that it's probably the fact that maybe you work on a computer, Kelly. I'm not sure, girl, because I don't know you that well. I know we just met. But water is absolutely going to help with your headaches, but there's also pressure points that you can really hit on. If they're reoccurring headaches, I would definitely recommend maybe to get that checked out. If you're staring at a computer or your cell phone for hours and hours on end, you are going to get a headache. Maybe it's your eyesight, girl. A lot of the times people don't really have the right prescription, so you might want to get that checked out. And again, I would just double back and see where your magnesium is at, and also your vitamin D. Because I'm not sure where you live, Kelly. I feel so bad. I don't even know you. We need to get to know each other better, but girl. But if you live in Canada or in somewhere where it's friggin' freezing cold and there's barely any sun, I mean, it's normal to get headaches. I have a headache right now, but it's also maybe you're not eating enough either. That might be another really thing to take into consideration. Or maybe you're somebody that I'm not saying an addiction, but maybe you're somebody that's really used to drinking a ton of a ton of coffee or caffeine. Because if you started to scale back, then you really will see headaches for a very long time, because your body is actually going through a detoxification. Don't forget that caffeine is basically a drug, ladies. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a good cup of coffee, but I really try to keep that caffeine intake at the minimum. It's really good for fat burning and obviously everything else. I mean, alertness, whatnot. But just be aware that if you are somebody that's consuming a ton of milligrams of caffeine, and I'll tell you a little story before I go on to the next question. A girlfriend of mine reached out to me, and we got talking, and she couldn't figure out why she couldn't lose weight. She was kind of doing everything like the way that she should in terms of, dieting and working out and, negativity in her life and mindset, etc. But we got digging. I got digging into like how her nutrition looked. It boiled down to she was drinking a pot of coffee a day. And I said to her, like, this is totally why you can't lose weight. Your cortisol is through the frickin' roof. You have absolute gut rot. You are consuming so much caffeine. It's ridiculous. And yeah, so she started to cut it back. She had massive headaches because she was so used to having, like, it was probably anywhere between, I would say, 800 and 1,000 milligrams of caffeine. Honestly, there's no way that a pot of coffee would have less than that, because you're talking like 12 cups and ups with, generally speaking, with a pot of coffee. And she would drink it throughout the whole day. So it wasn't even at like the beginning of the day or anything like that. So you're going to keep your cortisol level spiked through the freaking roof. No wonder you have headaches. Or no wonder you can't lose weight, because your body is basically in a toxic state. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Let me know a little bit more details on that, girl. Getting up from the computer every 20 minutes. Okay, Deanna, does intermittent fasting work for everyone in terms of weight loss? No, I said this earlier. It's not for everybody. Just like the keto diet's not for everybody. Just like paleo is not for everybody. Just like, you know, freaking Weight Watchers is not for everybody. The thing is, intermittent fasting is not about what you're eating. It's about your timeline. Okay. And again, this is not an excuse to like go out and go crazy and eat all this crappy food, because again, food quality is very, very important. It depends also, again, how everything else is sort of balancing in your life. Like if you are somebody that is highly stressed out all the time, it doesn't matter if you fast or you don't fast. It'll be very hard for you to lose weight, because you got to keep that in check. I'm serious, ladies. Like, stress is the worst thing on this planet. It really is. And if you can't get control of that, that's really what's hindering from you from doing anything in your life, never mind losing weight. Okay. I do love the health benefits of intermittent fasting, and that's why I always recommend it. But by no means is it made for every single person. Okay. Hopefully that answers. Oh, you do have blue glasses. Yes, Kaylin. Oh my God, that's amazing. Somebody said that they looked ugly on me, so I returned them. Oh, we're so annoying as women. No, I'm going to order a new pair. They weren't honestly comfortable anyways, but I know I need to get those, because I've been staring at a computer so much and I can't wait to get them. So blue light glasses, ladies, if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, they will help to emit the blue lights from your technology pieces, especially now, once again, since we're all trapped at home. So I would recommend getting them too if you're spending like 8+ hours on a computer. It's super important, okay? Yes, you can have fizz after 3 p.m. There's 45 milligrams of green tea extract / caffeine in there though, Deanna. So if you're somebody that really struggles with falling asleep really quickly, or you toss and turn throughout the night, then you probably should have that before 3 p.m. I don't recommend after 5. Because I mean, that should be when you're winding down for the evening. I said this last week, you really want to try and focus on getting to bed at about 10 o'clock at night, or 10:30 at the latest. I know that's like crazy for some people, but I couldn't, you know, your melatonin is produced highly in high doses, I should say, before that. So you have less chances of falling asleep earlier if you go to bed after 10. Okay. Thoughts of weighing yourself on the scale. Oh, Kelly, you're opening up a can of worms, girl. I hate scales so much. I hate them. I know that you are having a little bit of issues navigating through this program in terms of the units, girl, but I am going to queue up a video for you that I made. I think it's got to be 1.5 years ago now, maybe a year ago, about weighing yourself in and how absolutely detrimental that is to your mindset. It does absolutely nothing. You're so like, you're ready to anticipate this number on the scale, and then you get on the scale and maybe it says a little bit more, or it says, you know, 1 pound more than you were expecting it, or maybe it says 4 pounds more, and then you are absolutely in a downward spiral. And the thing is, even if the number says what you want it to say, how good does that make you feel is great. You should celebrate your successes. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but really and truly at the end of the day, it's not about the frickin' number that's on the scale. All your weight loss changes happen on the outside first. And if your mindset and your stress is not where it needs to be, you will never be able to achieve weight loss. And as women, I know we want to see changes physically on the outside. You know, we want that. We like to look good. We like to feel good, and that's totally okay. But stepping on a scale is not that. It makes us feel like shit. Honestly, it does. It makes us feel like, oh, I feel fat, or why am I this much weight? And not to mention, it is never accurate. You cannot expect to stand on a scale and everything that's going on in your life, say from the week prior to this week, has been exactly the same. Hormones, the water intake, the food that you've eaten, the stress levels that you have, what's going on in your outside life, what's going on with your workouts, what's going on with your protein. And that's the problem with scales, because they're not freaking accurate. They mean absolutely dick all. And not to mention, when you look in the mirror and you feel really confident, why would you want to step on a scale and have that all go out the window? Because you're anticipating a number, and if it doesn't say that number, you feel like shit. And that's why I hate scales. I never coach my clients on stepping on a scale. I coach them the exact opposite, because it's too much negative mindset for me to handle. And not to mention, I don't want that for you. You're focused, you're on the course. I'm not saying you can't step on a scale ever again, but seriously, I don't even own one. And the last time I stepped on it was during that video. And I remember, and I said this live on camera, I did it as an experiment. I felt like crap. I was anticipating like 142 or 143, or I don't even remember what the number was because it was a while ago. But I remember it being more. See, even now, like, so that's why would I even want to go there? Like, forget it. It's not worth it. Look in the mirror, decide that, you know, things are what they are. Let's work on changing that. And you know what? Focus on the mentality first and get rid of the freaking scale. Seriously, throw it out the window, throw it in the garbage this week, or donate it, whatever you want to do. It's garbage to me. Okay. Yeah, no, girl. That's why. And again, she's saying that she's obsessive on the scale right now and doesn't like the number. And here's the thing. That's what's holding you back. Like, I can't stress this enough. It's holding you back from breaking through that barrier, because that's all you can think about. You need to focus on getting healthy and getting, you know, more wellness into your life instead of just weight loss. Because that scale is nothing but I take this out of the page, but a mind screw. It so messes up with your mind, and you feel like garbage for hours, days, weeks. And it's obsessive behavior, and it's not a healthy obsessiveness. Okay, focus on getting whole foods. Focus on portion control. Focus on moving more. Focus on getting stronger. Focus on keeping stress at a bay, which is super hard. You know, focus on your form. Focus on the positivity in life, your gratitude. Like, there's so many other things, and literally the scale is at the absolute, like, under the clay in the earth for me. Get rid of it and promise me that you will. I can't stress that enough. And if you are somebody that's like, you know, anyone else in this group that you're struggling with that, then why the hell do you still do it? I have to call you out on your bullshit. Seriously, if something is not serving you, it is time to move on from it. And it's the same thing with the negative people. It's the same thing with the scale. I can consider that the most negative thing on the planet, and it's for no reason at all. Doesn't matter what that freaking scale says. And not to mention, by the way, muscle weighs more than fat. The end. Okay. And when you're more muscular, you're going to burn fat better. You're going to burn calories better. Your metabolism is going to be better. You're stronger. You're healthier. You look leaner, but it weighs more than fat. So what's the point of a number? No point. Okay. All right. Kaylin, what if we only weigh ourselves every few months? Still no, I'm not going to lie. I've been doing that. Oh gosh, Kaylin. Oh shit, I don't know what happened there. Here's the thing, like, Kaylin, you and I have been working together for almost a year now, and you have seen some incredible results, okay? My only question to you would be, does it serve you? You know, seriously, does it serve you? Or is it leaving you feel like shit, and then you're adjusting, you know, whatever you're doing for the week? Maybe you're kicking your ass even more in the gym, which is not a bad thing, but it's also not a good thing. So, you know, I don't want to give you the answer to that. I think that you're at a point in your fitness and weight loss journey and your health journey that you can figure that out on your own. If you feel like you need that as a benchmark, then go for it. I hate scales. I hate them. And I just don't want you to ever feel like it's saying the wrong number and get like all these negative thoughts from it, okay? So just be careful with that. Yes, Anna, chuck that scale out the window, girl. Scale out the door, Kelly. Yeah. Okay, good. Oh my God. Kaylin, she's lost 35 pounds. Girl, that's incredible. That's so good. See, that's what I'm saying. But in the beginning, and even when you have already lost the weight and you can see those feelings visually, you don't necessarily need to see that number. Because you can look in the mirror and know that you've lost weight. Does it really matter the amount? Maybe it does. And for you, that's okay. I get it. I get it both ways. I just freaking hate them. I will never own one again as long as I live. I just won't. Okay? Yes, Nancy. Nancy got rid of her scale when she did my programs last year. It's the best thing that she's ever done. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, why even have something that's so negative? But Kaylin, I get where you're coming from, babe. I do. Suanna, that's what happened to her last year. Yeah, the scale has got you depressed, and that's why you're starting all over. And that's why you should never step on a scale again and just stay consistent. Don't let yourself go backwards. Don't give yourself an out. Don't say after this 3 months, I'll be this, and then I'm never going to, continue or evolve or practice again. Because we're constantly aging, we are constantly growing, we are constantly changing with what's going on in our life. And if our health and our fitness is not staying up with that, you can't expect to, maintain where you're at even right now, whether it's healthy or not healthy for the rest of your life. Okay, there's two choices. You can get unhealthier or you can get healthier. And then there's like that maintenance level, but there's always another thing you could do to help yourself get more balance with hormones, balance with stress, balance with nutrition, okay? So look at it as an ongoing, I don't want to say battle, but an ongoing process, okay? Priscilla hasn't weighed herself since the first time we did months ago, but she's not going to lie. I've been wondering what I weigh, but why? Why? Girl, like, see what I'm saying? Like, we're so brutal like that as women. And I am going to call us out on that. Like, I'm a woman. I can do this. But why? And again, there's best case, worst case, most likely scenario. So best case scenario, you step on the scale and it says something less than you thought. Great. You're going to feel good for a couple hours. And then what? You're going to probably continue to work out. You're going to probably continue to eat well. You're going to probably continue to do your 10,000 steps. And okay, so that's awesome. If it says worst case scenario, it says more, you're going to feel like shit. You are going to feel like crap for hours and hours and hours. It's going to probably derail you. You're going to maybe stress eat. You're going to maybe say, screw this. I don't even care anymore. I've been working so hard and the scale says this. Or the most likely case scenario is it says exactly what you envisioned it to see, or maybe what you weighed before, or whatever the case is. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's just how good or how bad are you going to feel by stepping on that scale. I don't recommend it, Priscilla. I really don't, girl. I honestly don't. I just feel that I know where you're at currently, and I just want to make sure that you stay in a headspace. I just want to make sure that you stay the course. You stay motivated. You keep on going. You do not give up, and you don't give in. Okay? Nothing worth having comes easy. Our bodies and our lives are changing all the time. So it's just super important that you keep the course. And I feel for you, but I really don't recommend it for you, girl. Okay, the choice is yours. At the end of the day, I can't force you. I'm not living with you. I don't know what you're going to do, but I don't recommend it. I think it's going to derail your progress even further. Okay? Yeah, Suanna doesn't have any batteries in there. Okay, Kelly, snack idea for midday or dinner, but way before bed. So snack ideas, again, you just want to make sure that you're having some protein there. So you can have protein balls, you can have a protein shake, you can have some boiled eggs, you can have a little salad, some tuna, cucumbers, hummus, vegetables. What else can I recommend for you? Yogurt is another really great one. A little serving of oatmeal. I'm just trying to think what else I would recommend. I like rice cakes. Sometimes I put, almond butter or something like that on them. I do really like rice cakes. I'm not just pretending that I like to eat air. I just really like rice cakes. I don't know why. Or just even like a little small portion of maybe leftover dinner, some balanced vegetables or something like that. What else can I recommend? I don't know if anyone made that stew, but it is freaking delicious. So I would recommend making it the lentil stool, if you haven't, the lentil stew, if you haven't made it, I would highly recommend it. So Kelly, I'm just trying to kind of drawing a blank here. You want to stay away from having fruits closer to the evening time, just because, again, it's going to, they ferment when you sleep. So I'd recommend having your fruits earlier in the day. Like, again, kind of use that 2-3 o'clock benchmark. It would be my recommendation for you, okay? Chocolate after dinner. Don't be afraid to eat dark chocolate. Make sure it's not milk chocolate and packed with sugar. And again, watch your portion sizes. I don't recommend having it every single night. Again, if weight loss is part of your goal, you got to be a little bit more restrictive in that category. But at the same time, if you have 1 square a night, you're going to be just fine. Okay. Yes, I have heard of that, Laura. Laura's asking me if I've ever heard of protein cake in a mug. It's like cake. Yes, I have. And there's lots of recipes. That reminds me. I'll post one in the next couple of days. Thank you for that, Laura. Yeah, you can actually cook this little protein. It tastes like cake. It's so good. Yeah, mostly with vanilla though, I would recommend, unless you really want chocolate. But yeah, and it's just basically protein and eggs and maybe a little bit of baking powder. Yes, Priscilla. Thank you. Yeah, the lentil stool. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. Listen, it's been a long freaking day and I have even my phone on charge. It's like about to die. So ladies, honestly, thank you so much for joining me again. This was really awesome and really informative. And I just can't tell you enough how much I appreciate you all being here and showing up. And if there's any questions I didn't get to and you're watching this at a later date, please just post them in the group and I will be for sure getting around to answering them. And just a reminder, the units might seem like they're all over the place, but they're actually at the top and you can click when they're done. When I upload things, ladies, it does usually take me a few hours to add it to a unit. But just keep checking back there. There's 5 different units and they're broken down like month 1, 2, and 3. And then there's live workouts and other of my, Coach Care workouts. And then there's also like the nutrition recipes and live Q&As, which is where you can find stuff like this. Okay. You guys have a great night too. And yes, I will definitely give that recipe. I'll give it for you tomorrow. Okay. I'll put it on my agenda. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And on Monday, I don't even know what the date is. I will be highlighting somebody in the group. I feel like I'm on The Bachelor. It's like the impression rose or whatever the hell it is. But I will be highlighting somebody that stood out to me this week on numerous occasions, whether it's workouts or some of the questions, maybe some of the meals that they've posted or, whatever the case is or their progress and how they're feeling. I don't know what it's going to be, but I will be highlighting somebody and I'm going to do this every 2 weeks. So just stay tuned to that. And it's not meant to make anybody feel like crap. It's meant to motivate each other, which is why we are all here in the first place, is to support each other and really just keep moving forward. Okay. You're most welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I'm sure we'll talk to you really soon. Have a great evening. Bye.